Man, the Academy continues to not care whether or not they are popular, as this morning's Oscar nominations announcement has so many snubs, it's guaranteed to pretty much upset everyone. So we're going to go through the snubs first and then discuss who actually did land, apparently, a very coveted nomination. These things are hard to get, even if you are considered a frontrunner and an audience favorite. All right, so the biggest snub by far and away is the Lego Movie wasn't even nominated. So many of us were shocked on Sunday when the Golden Globes didn't give it the win and so How to Train Your Dragon 2 won. Well, here, you don't have to worry it's not going to get the win because it's not even going to be a part of the competition. I find that absolutely shocking. To me, it's by far and away the best animated film of the year, and this is a new low for the animation category with the Oscars. They tend to vote just by what they hear the most about or what makes the most money or what's the most popular, but that didn't even help the Lego Movie here. They, for some reason, just were like, I don't think that's animation, or I think Phil Lord and Chris Miller aren't animation artistes. And so now, forget not winning, the audience favorite isn't even in the running. So that is a huge surprise. And I also think it's a problem for the ceremony in general because I think that was one of the last few holdouts of audience interest that remained for this awards show, that the mass audience, the mainstream audience was excited about. What's left for people to be excited about? Well, it looks like it's interestingly going to be American Sniper. That's set to open huge this weekend. It's gained momentum through the entire week. I reported it would have like a 30 million opening on Movie Math on Monday. Well, now it's looking more like 50. So there's intense interest in this film from the mainstream audience, and so perhaps the Academy will luck out that they've given so many nominations to American Sniper. American Sniper is big here. It has 6 nominations in total. That puts it right in the thick of things with the films that got the most nominations. So who did get a lot of nominations? Well, Grand Budapest Hotel, of course, has tremendous momentum after BAFTA gave it the most nominations and it won Best Picture Comedy or Musical at the Golden Globes. Well, now it is one of the highest nominated films. It's 9, and Birdman also has 9 nominations. So they're the big two. Then right after that is The Imitation Game. Good old Harvey Weinstein got his movie in there. At the end of the day, we should never have doubted him, even though The Imitation Game was largely absent from any of the early awards shows. Everyone was like, I'm not honoring this. It's not good. But the Academy said, Harvey, we've got your back. However, they don't have his back to a ridiculous degree, unlike the Golden Globes, where he was able to secure a tremendous amount of nominations for Big Eyes and St. Vincent, also his films. They didn't go that far here. Those films were actually shut out. So The Imitation Game, though, with 8. Then Boyhood with 6. Boyhood's a little bit behind Birdman here. I think some people will be surprised about that, but don't underestimate Boyhood. It could be very strong in the categories it is competing in. And then The Theory of Everything and, listen to this, Whiplash are both tied with 5 nominations. That's amazing for Whiplash to be so on the board there, and this is a development I'm very excited about. But the problem with this show, as always with the Oscars, is that the films they're celebrating haven't been seen by that many people. They all have very low box office returns, with the exception of Grand Budapest Hotel, so that might help as well, American Sniper, and then The Imitation Game is somewhat of a strong performer, but nowhere near the level of what Grand Budapest Hotel and American Sniper is going to be. So people don't really know what to root for because they don't have an emotional investment with these films. But Whiplash is such a good movie that I highly recommend. It made my top 10 list, a lot of people's top 10 lists. I recommend that you take this opportunity now to see it for sure, because this is not only great for J.K. Simmons, who's pretty much a lock to win Best Supporting as he did at the Globes, but how nice for Damien Chazelle, the writer-director of the film. I think this is going to help secure his future, whereas before maybe it didn't seem so concrete. All right, so Interstellar, let's talk about the movies that you guys were really excited about and really aren't here. Interstellar also got 5 nominations, but in the traditional, special effects, behind-the-scenes categories. It got 2 for sound, it got 1 for production design, 1 for visual effects, and then 1 for original score for Hans Zimmer, which a lot of you were pulling for, so that's exciting. But in general, Interstellar, I'm sure Christopher Nolan and I talked about this. This was his Oscar bait movie. He cast it with all these Oscar-friendly and Oscar-winning actors. He tried to ask the big questions, and it did not work out. And I think that at this point, I think he should stop shooting for the gold, literally, and just shoot for the cash. I mean, he has a wonderful relationship with the audience. They have tremendous faith in him, and so I think he should just focus on making pictures that appeal to his audience. And if just be the new Hitchcock. Hitchcock is still one of the most well-known and fondly remembered directors of all time. And I think he never actually won an Oscar. I think he got like a Lifetime Achievement Award or something like that. But as they've said before, I would have liked to have won the. I think Peter O'Toole said this. I would have liked to have won this outright, but I guess this will do. All right. So then also Selma. Lots of snubs with Selma. David Oyelowo, not nominated for Best Actor. Ava DuVernay, no history made here. Women continue to have a hard time getting into this category. You'll be surprised to see who did make it into the Best Director category. I think I have to see Selma. I'm hoping to see it this weekend, but I think that Ava DuVernay easily could have taken one of their spots. So she's shut out as well. Then Gone Girl. A lot of you were really rooting for Gone Girl. Rosamund Pike, the only nomination for the film. And this just underscores what I was talking about yesterday on Morning Movie News. They talk about the Gone Girl team remaking Strangers on a Train, yet Rosamund Pike isn't involved in that remake, and I think she's clearly, and the Academy agrees, the most important member of the Gone Girl team. So Gone Girl also shut out. I have to also warn you, Nightcrawler. No Jake Gyllenhaal nomination. It did get a screenplay nomination for Dan Gilroy, but nothing for Jake. Also Joaquin Phoenix was shut out for Inherent Vice. Not a great movie, so I'm not surprised that he was shut out. And then Ralph Fiennes, while the Grand Budapest Hotel is a frontrunner with 9 nominations, one of them was not for Ralph Fiennes. All right, also in the Best Picture category, we're going to talk about that right now. We're going to jump into the nominations, but let me tell you first who you're not going to see. You're not going to see Foxcatcher. You're not going to see Into the Woods. And you're not going to see St. Vincent, which that's not a big surprise. And you're not going to see Pride. That was a very nice nomination that was thrown in there at the Golden Globes, but it's a sentiment that wasn't carried over here into the Oscars. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pictures. They can go up to 10. They've done 8. And you might be thinking, if you're a fan of any of those snubbed movies, why couldn't you add one more? All right, so who are your Best Picture nominations? We've got American Sniper. This is, again, a surprisingly strong contender for the Oscars. I think it's a very solid picture. I said it was the new Davy Crockett. That's what they did with the character there. Bradley Cooper is fantastic in the role. There's something missing. It doesn't quite hit the mark, but I think that to celebrate Chris Kyle's life is important and worthy, and I think it's a good idea. All right, so American Sniper, we don't know if it'll win. It probably won't win, although you never know with all the nominations it's received. All right, so American Sniper, Birdman, Boyhood, the big 2, and then the Grand Budapest Hotel. So make that really the big 3. We've really got 3 big movies. The Imitation Game, I don't think it's going to win. We'll see. I mean, Harvey surprised us before with his pull with the Academy and able to securing wins like The King's Speech. When I saw The King's Speech, though, I was like, that's a perfect Oscar movie. Just while I was watching it, I was like, Oscars all around. But I didn't get that feeling with The Imitation Game, so I don't think it's going to win. Then Selma did at least get a Best Picture nomination, but so few nominations everywhere else, I think really hinder its chances to win here. The Theory of Everything, expected to see it. Don't really think it's going to win. And then Whiplash is a Best Picture nominee. How exciting is that? Damien Chazelle, I believe it's his first feature film, as they've been talking about the Golden Globes, shot it in just like 19 days. I think that's not only, it's like The Beast of Southern Wild for this year, although I think a little bit more competitive. I think The Beast got a lot of nominations, and I think, as I recall, I don't think any wins, maybe, I think that it, and we haven't really heard so much from that team since then, but I think Damien Chazelle, with this strong a debut and the fact that Whiplash is such a traditional narrative, I think his next picture, it's a very exciting situation for him. Now, let's move over to Best Actor. Now, we've got, of course, Jake Gyllenhaal isn't going to be here, as you can see, but we've got Michael Keaton for Birdman. He won at the Golden Globes for a comedy or musical. Then Eddie Redmayne, he won drama at the Golden Globes, so that's probably your 2 competitors there. Benedict Cumberbatch, The Imitation Game. Again, I feel this is just a nod to Harvey. Benedict Cumberbatch, he's getting, I feel like he really has to break through. I think that people expect great things from him, but I think that he doesn't want to be the new Peter O'Toole and decades from now just get a Lifetime Achievement Award and never have won it outright. I think he needs to make bigger, bolder moves, like his co-nominees are making. Steve Carell for Foxcatcher, he's here. Don't think he's going to win, especially with the lack of nominations for Foxcatcher overall. But for a nomination for Steve Carell for Best Actor, that alone is huge. I think he's done a really nice job having a diverse resume to date. Don't forget he was in Little Miss Sunshine, Dan in Real Life. I mean, he makes these kind of like half dramas anyway. Also, a lot of people liked him very much. I can't remember the name of the movie. It came out this summer. He was like a stepdad to this kid. I can't remember off the top of my head, but everybody liked his performance there quite a bit as well. So I think this is going to open up a whole new career path to Steve Carell, give him a lot more options when he's looking for further projects. So that's very exciting. And then Bradley Cooper for American Sniper. That is really exciting. I'm really surprised about this, but I think it's totally warranted. And this might be the situation where Bradley Cooper actually wins. He always gets nominated, but he never wins. He's always overshadowed by somebody else, often in his own movie. But I think that Bradley Cooper is so good in American Sniper, and he portrays a type of American that is so rarely portrayed in Hollywood, and with such dignity and honor and respect. I mean, he's the standout in that film. He's the glue that holds it together, and it's just an altering performance. People talk about, oh, I can't see the actor in the final performance, and you would think, oh well, with just playing a soldier, how could you lose yourself in that role? But Bradley Cooper loses himself in this role. All right, so Best Actress. No Amy Adams here. She won at the Golden Globes, of course, for comedy or musical for Big Eyes. Not even nominated here. She continues to have, a love-hate relationship with the Oscars, and also Jennifer Aniston for Cake isn't here as well. But considering there are only 5 nominees, Cake is really not a player in terms of the award circuit as a film overall. It's not surprising to see her omitted here. But there's one surprise here. So as you can see here, Marion Cotillard, that's the big surprise, but we'll go through in there in order. Julianne Moore for Still Alice. She also won the drama. I just saw Still Alice. My review will be coming up later today or tomorrow. She did a very good job. I'm not surprised to see her here, and don't be surprised if she wins it here as well. Felicity Jones, The Theory of Everything. Again, great for her career. I don't think she's going to win. Rosamund Pike for Gone Girl. That's huge. It's the only recognition for the film. I think this should hopefully open up a whole new career path for Rosamund Pike. She's been working for a very long time with no recognition, and we'll see what kind of role she can get next. This is a key moment for her, where she's going to take all of this momentum and how she's going to, or capital, I guess you could say, and how she's going to spend it with her next picture. We'll see. She should announce something very soon, especially because she's not going to win. She's going to want to announce a new deal before the ceremony. And then Reese Witherspoon for Wild. That's something that we expected. She was also in the Golden Globes nomination pool. And then Marion Cotillard for 2 Days, One Night. The Oscars love Marion Cotillard. I suspect she is a fantastic campaigner, and that's why you see her here. Don't expect her to win. I really do think this is Julianne Moore's award, and then I would even prefer to see Rosamund Pike. Marion Cotillard, I think, again, she's kind of like the female Benedict Cumberbatch, only with better results. I think she's beloved by audiences and the industry and critics, but I don't think she does that much with that following. All right, now, Best Supporting Actor. This is exactly the same lineup as the Golden Globes. So J.K. Simmons should probably win here as well for Whiplash. You've also got Ethan Hawke for Boyhood. I wouldn't be unhappy if he won. I thought his performance was actually the best. And I've been talking a little bit about it to some people this week about Boyhood, with the nominations and the wins and everything. And I said that Patricia Arquette, while she won Best Supporting Actress, I preferred Ethan Hawke because he did a really great job portraying on the surface, the deadbeat dad, but really giving him a lot of humanity and depth and showing that he's not a bad guy, he's just a lost guy. And I thought that was a really great and fresh performance and a fresh idea in movies. Because, guys are often, especially, divorced dads are often vilified. So Ethan Hawke, Edward Norton for Birdman. Great to see him back in the saddle, back on the board. This is also great for Edward Norton's career, and he should be able to parlay this into another opportunity for himself as well. Then Mark Ruffalo for Foxcatcher. Again, so few nominations for this film. I think the nomination itself is the win, and so he's the Hulk. He's fine. And then Robert Duvall for The Judge. This is a throwaway, nomination. It was a throwaway at the Globes, and it's the only nomination for The Judge, and I can't believe The Judge is even an Oscar-nominated film. At least they can put that on their DVD box now. And then Best Supporting Actress. The big snub here is Jessica Chastain for A Most Violent Year. Jessica Chastain, I think, expected to have a really great Oscar year with The Disappearance of Eleanor Rigby and A Most Violent Year, but it never materialized, largely because I think both those films are subpar. So now she's not even nominated, and she's not going to really be at the ceremony. And so she's been talking about wanting to do a Marvel movie. I think she needs to do something. She hasn't materialized as the next Meryl Streep. I mean, Amy Adams, if anything, seems to have taken over that role. Jessica Chastain is still, maybe because they're both redheads, only one can live, and it looks like Amy Adams has her on the ropes. So the Best Supporting Actress nominees are Patricia Arquette for Boyhood. She won, of course, at the Golden Globes, so that makes her a frontrunner here. Emma Stone for Birdman. Fantastic for Emma Stone. She is having a great year, not only here on the silver screen, but with her cabaret performance on Broadway, getting rave reviews. A huge turnaround and rebound, generally, from the detour she took with the Spider-Man movies. And Andrew Garfield, he's going to be able to take a detour, too, even though it's a forced one. He's going to be able to hopefully find a new career path, because apparently the rumor is he's not going to be Spider-Man for much longer. Then you have Keira Knightley for The Imitation Game. Don't think she's going to win. I think there are much stronger competitors here, but for Keira Knightley to get this nomination, this is also huge for her career. I think it gives her a much-needed seriousness factor, legitimacy as an actress, that will also give her better opportunities going forward. Then Meryl Streep, Into the Woods. How could you not nominate Meryl Streep? I think actually Meryl Streep is really good in this role, and she might be a dark horse here, but Streep has so many Oscars. Are they really going to overlook the other performances here in favor of giving her another one? And then the big surprise, who took Chastain's spot, is Laura Dern for Wild. So both Reese Witherspoon and Laura Dern are nominated here. That's great for the movie Wild, and it's also great for, films about women and the mother-daughter relationship that's obviously portrayed there. Struck a chord with Academy voters. All right, now we have Best Director. All right, so Richard Linklater for Boyhood. He's the one who took home the prize at the Golden Globes. He's competing with Alejandro Inarritu for Birdman. And then here are your surprises. Here are the people who took David Fincher and Ava DuVernay's spots. Morton Tildum for The Imitation Game. It was like a BBC Movie of the Week. I can't believe he's nominated. Maybe he's did such a great job of putting out false information about Alan Turing. They're like, that really took a lot of talent, because Imitation Game, of course, is plagued with press that it's incredibly inaccurate. So he got a nomination because Harvey Weinstein is that good. Then Wes Anderson for the Grand Budapest Hotel. He does a fantastic job with that film, but I think this film is very strong in other categories. Not so much here. And then, of course, Bennett Miller for Foxcatcher. That's amazing. I think Foxcatcher, without that Best Picture nomination, is unlikely to win any of these other nominations. So to give it a spot when Selma is nominated for Best Picture, how can you not give that to Ava DuVernay? But I'd have to say, though, in Bennett Miller's defense, Foxcatcher is another movie when you're watching it, you're like, wow, this is a really Oscar-friendly movie. It's Oscar bait all the way. He knows how to make a movie that just looks like an Oscar contender. So they were like, you know what? The actual product isn't that good, but his efforts were impressive. Let's give him a nomination. And then finally, Best Animated Feature. What could possibly have beaten the Lego Movie? Well, they really went for an international scope of films, but then also in terms of the style of animation, the craft, which I think is commendable. But I think that the way that it was made to they made computer animation to look like stop motion animation in the Lego Movie was incredibly impressive, and that artistry should be respected instead of just written off as, playing with Legos. Did they learn nothing from the movie? All right, so anyway, Big Hero 6, Disney, again, don't be surprised. This is probably going to boil down. We'll see what stand the Academy. Every year, everybody hopes the Academy is going to take a stand with animation and at least honor, the smaller films that need the attention. But they always go with the big movie that they've heard about, or they love Disney and they love DreamWorks. So expect one of those two to win, because both Big Hero 6 and How to Train Your Dragon 2 are nominated. Then the Box Trolls is in there. Leica, that's great for them, and much needed, because they continue to only be a moderate box office performer, but at least they can say we always get nominated. Then Song of the Sea, from the same filmmakers behind The Secret of Kells. So that's also traditional hand-drawn. These last two are traditional hand-drawn animation. And then Studio Ghibli's The Tale of Princess Kaguya, that a lot of you have actually really recommended to me. So apparently there's quality filmmaking going on there. But I'm curious, for those of you who are fans of Song of the Sea and The Tale of Princess Kaguya, do you feel they're better than the Lego Movie? All right, so those are the major nominations, and these are the ones that I'll be covering in depth during Oscar season. So look for that Oscar coverage. Of course, the BTT Oscar vote will go into effect as well. We're really going to dig in here and see what's left and try and get excited about this. Although, to be fair, I do like Birdman. I do like the Grand Budapest Hotel, and I do like American Sniper. So there's something to like here. We'll find something. We'll make this cool. So, and if you would like to see the rest of the nominations, there's a link in the video description to where you can find them. So thank you so much for tuning in, and I look forward to spending Oscar season with you. And be sure to follow me on Twitter, because I will be live tweeting the ceremony just as I did with the Golden Globes. And we had so much fun then. I'm sure we'll have fun again with Doogie Howser on February 22nd. All right. Thanks for watching. Bye.